when it's good and when it's God and when you're ready, it doesn't have to take a long time. The reason why it takes a long time for so many people is because they haven't done the pre-work. Okay, there's no pre-game that's happened here. And so they're not ready to step into that. They have all different types of blocks where on the inside still. And so they can't move forward on the outside with this person. You see people that are dating for years and years and still can't make a decision if this is the one. Some people have been engaged for lots of years and they can't ever set the date. And the reason why is because they're not really sure who they are. And if they don't know who they are, then they can never be anything to this other person. If I don't know who I am to myself, how can I be anything to you? And so I help people figure that out. I help people find out who they are and whose they are. I help them step back into that destiny DNA and that story that God's written about them. So then they can see, is this person in my story too?
This is CIA, Contagious Influencers of America, the podcast from the producers of Keep the Faith. And I have with me today Jackie Dorman, who brings us something extraordinary called Married in 12 months or less, right?
That's right.
Now, we started talking about this months ago. I was crying out to you, crying. I'm like, Jackie, I'm in isolation here. I haven't gone because of COVID. I haven't gone to dinner. I haven't gone out.
No karaoke.
No karaoke on Friday nights. And you're like, you won't believe it. You won't believe what I'm doing. And I'm very successful at it. I'm matchmaking during COVID.
That's right. People are falling in love even during quarantine. That's what was going on.
I mean, seriously, I mean, you put together how many couples in the last, I mean, it's like, a couple dozen or something, right?
Dozens of couples since mid 2020.
And you're on a roll. I saw that, I even saw you had to do a couple of weddings.
That's right.
What, last month?
Yeah, that's right. I was going to fly to each and every wedding, and you were the voice of wisdom that said, I don't think you should start doing that. You're going to be going to hundreds of weddings if you start that type of pattern with that.
So okay, I'm gonna fill you all in here. Here's the deal. We've lived for several months in lockdown, shut down, shut out. Churches have been closed. There have been no singles groups. A lot of the bar scene's pretty much been shut down. If you live in California, you can't even go to a restaurant. Now you sort of can. But the bottom line is that it's been a brutal year to be single.
Yes, it's been a brutal year, especially if you're single.
But what we've really discovered is that being single, we've had these outlets. We've had the online dating. We've had the meetup groups. I mean, there have been these outlets, right?
Right.
And during COVID, not so much. And a lot of people have lived in isolation.
Right.
And a lot of people have been in a season that they've never been in before.
It's true. It's true. And what's happened is that we've seen that all of the things that we took for granted, all of the in-person meetups, all the things we thought were boring, that was the lifeblood of connection and community. And, we have what I call the Cheesecake Factory menu. We watch television, we watch all these movies, we see all these love stories and all these other people and singles. We're like, hey, I got to have someone like that. We ignored the people that were right in front of us in our own community. The reason why I call it the Cheesecake Factory menu is you go to Cheesecake Factory and you have 20 pages to choose from. When you're just going to pick the thing that you always like, you always get at every restaurant, right? But that's what it was like. So community was shut down. So the thing that's right in front of you, the common thing that you like, that you always get, you can't have that. And so now you're just forced to look at all of these things out there that you can't have and really you don't want, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Well, so tell me about Married in 12 Months or Less. And it's a 5-day challenge to begin with. And I just want to put it out there as a disclaimer. This thing is so successful. I'm now in business with Jackie on this. So this is, I'm going to say some things I normally don't say here on the podcast. And the reason being is because we decided to set up, it was so successful. We tested it. We tested it on Keep the Faith. And we literally had, I'm not even going to go into numbers. It would blow your mind. And then a lot of the ladies that went through the 5-day challenge have been going through bride boot camp.
That's right.
Right?
Yes.
And then they go through your mentorship. I mean, this is like unbelievable. So we're just going to back up a little bit, and you're going to tell us what married in 5 days. Yeah, right.
Let's not shorten it.
Married in 12 days. 12. Hey, the other thing is that we're doing this at 11 o'clock at night.
That's right.
We've actually been working all day.
Yes.
Getting ready for the next married in 12 months or less 5-day challenge.
That's right.
Right? So
Yes.
we've been like literally working for 14 hours, and you have to get on a plane tomorrow. And I pulled you in the studio here in the middle of the night and said, we got to do a podcast. In all fairness.
That's right. We have to. Married in 12 days or less. No, for sure. And then I tell my students that. I said, hey, listen, let's not make it married in 12 days or less. Let's make it married in 12 months or less, because they get so excited when they go through this 5-day challenge. And the 5-day challenge is just to reignite hope, to give people, back what they lost in all of those bad scenarios, those bad experiences. They lost the faith that they could get married, that someone could love them, that they could have the love story, that they could live happily ever after. And so in 5 days, I reignite that hope. I show them why it's God's idea. This is God's idea. This is not your idea. He created you for this. You don't have to become this. You are this. We just have to pull back all the false layers that are on you from all the bad relationships, all the mistakes. Failure doesn't rob us of potential. It robs us of confidence. So giving them back the confidence that they need to step back into this love story that God's already written about them. And it's phenomenal what happens. When people get a hold of hope, that was all that was in their way. They weren't stuck on the outside. They were stuck on the inside. And so they get a hold of this hope, and it's a game changer for them. They begin to see themselves differently. They begin to see other people differently. And that is the magic that causes them to be able to find the love that really was hidden in plain sight all along.
Now, I also want to emphasize that this is free.
It is.
And it's free because the radio stations where we advertise this, which you can go to lovestories.com right now and check it out. That's the website. We're covering that cost.
You are?
Yeah.
I know.
Really, folks, this is a phenomenal program. It's 5 days. And take us through what you're going to learn over that 5 days about yourself.
Well, you're going to learn that God is your matchmaker, like I was just talking about. This is a supernatural process, and when you get out of your own way and you step into it, it just takes care of itself. So you're going to find out why God wants you married even more than you want to be married. We're going to talk about the divine feminine, which is what we've been created to be. What does that look like to step into that? So many women are operating in this counterfeit masculine energy of control and taking care of themselves. And really what they just want to do is they just want to exhale. They just want to just lean back. They want to let someone else drive for a while. I love to let my husband drive. I love to ride in the passenger seat. I can put my makeup on. I can look out the window. I can be on my phone. I love that he knows where we're going and he can put it in the GPS and he can just get us there. And so many women want to literally do that, not just figuratively, but they literally want to just take their hands off the wheel for a few minutes and just allow someone else to navigate the course. And so just really helping women understand that you want that because you've been created to want that. You don't have to be scared of that anymore just because someone that didn't know how to love hurt you. Love didn't hurt you. Someone that didn't know how to love hurt you. And so helping them reconnect to that divine feminine, that's a big thing that we do in this 5 days. I also help people to be able to differentiate between spirit mate and soulmate. We've been told for so long that soulmate is the highest level of relationship that we can have. But I show everybody, men and women, why you can get a soulmate down at the Winn-Dixie or the Piggly Wiggly. You can have a soulmate today, David. We can get you one right now. We can leave. What time is it? 11 o'clock at night. We can find you a soulmate.
I've had a lot of soulmates, by the way.
People that just want to, connect with you, and things you have in common or physical attraction. They want to, they're willing to, come in your house and put their feet up on your coffee table and eat what's in your fridge. Cool. That's awesome. But we want to connect at a deeper level. We want that soul connection, that attraction, but we also want that spirit connection. We're going the same direction. We want the same things in life. We're going to be compatible long term. So I tell people how to get that. I show them how to get rid of those lists and how to have non-negotiables that are from heaven, but not to have non-negotiables that are based on fear and based on trauma from your past relationships. And so much more. We go over so many things, and I give them the tools that they need not just spiritual mumbo jumbo. I give them the actual practical tools they need to be able to get a hold of this for themselves, to go forward in this, not just be inspired, but actually be refired towards this relationship that I think deep down inside, every single person knows that they really, really were created for.
So let's talk about some of the specific stories.
Okay.
That we've run into during the challenges so far.
So many.
Now, and we're not going to use names, but go into 3 or 4 of the stories that are pretty representative of what you run into with some of the women. First of all, we want to emphasize this is for women.
Absolutely.
This is not for men.
Right.
So I'm not allowed to peek.
No.
That's pretty cool because you give women a safe environment.
I do.
And it's behind a wall and it's closed and you actually approve who gets into this thing. This is not some automated thing.
No. A human person looks at every single account, makes sure that it's an actual person that, is wanting to be part of this, and we let them in. And it's really important that we have that safe place, because one of the things that we unpack in that 5 days is all of the lies that we've been believing. All the lies we believe about ourselves, about men, about marriage, and that can be a very vulnerable place to be. And so this is a safe place. It becomes really a sisterhood, a sorority. The challenge, not even just the boot camp and mentorship, but the challenge itself becomes a place where women can really connect. They can leave the competition at the door because they're all in the same spot, and they know that they can just lock arms and really go through that process together. And so one story that sticks out to me is the list story. So many people have lists, and I have seen everything you can imagine on these lists. I mean, just things I would never think of putting on a list in what I want in a mate. But the longer those lists, usually the higher the walls of the person that made that list. They just don't want anyone getting in that doesn't belong there. And so I have helped so many people burn those lists. I've helped so many people come out of agreement with the lies on those lists because they're full of lies. They're full of all different types of deal breakers instead of deal makers.
Not like what's been on the list?
Just things that are just impractical and almost things that are just converse. Well, I want him to be tall, but not too tall. I want him to have money and have a career, but also want to travel all the time and be a free spirit. Just all of these things that sometimes can't go together in one person. And then also there's all the things on the list that people put on there to make sure that what happened to them in the past doesn't happen to them again. So much of our time is spent kind of sleeping with one eye open, making sure that what didn't kill us doesn't get another opportunity. Instead of making us stronger, it's like we're worried that it's going to get another opportunity and really get us this time. And so those lists are full of fear-based things like he has to be super spiritual. Well, what does that even mean? People can't even define the things on their list. If you're like, hey, what does this mean? They're like, well, I don't really know, but I just know that I don't want to end up with the person that I ended up with last time. And so I'm putting the opposite characteristics of that person on this list. So I want him to be super spiritual. It's okay. Does that mean he goes to church? Well, he doesn't necessarily have to go to church. Well, does that mean that he reads his Bible? Yeah, I want him to read his Bible. Well, how much does he have to read his Bible? We can start splitting hairs all the way down. Right? I don't want him to be older than me. Okay, you don't want him to be 5 years older than you? Well, I don't know. 5 years is okay. Well, okay, what about 6 years? And so it just gets to a place where they really don't know what it is they want because they haven't seen it yet, and they're not gonna see it unless they have more of an open mind. So I teach people to have non-negotiables, for sure. Have some non-negotiables, but make sure that they really are non-negotiables, and then let everything else be a negotiable.
I thought it was really interesting one night you were telling me that so many women want a guy over 6 feet tall. Is it 6 feet?
Yes.
But how many men does that eliminate?
Oh, it eliminates like the largest percentage. I think that the tallest men in the world are in Australia. So if you only want to date guys from Australia, I think they're all over 6 feet tall, or at least a large percentage of them are. In fact, I have a student like that just the other day. She's in an amazing relationship with an amazing guy, but she set her dating app to not show her men that were shorter than a certain height. And guess what? The guy that she is dating now happily in a relationship with is 3 inches shorter than what she set her app to, or what she was looking for in the app. She was scrolling through and she wasn't paying attention to anyone who was under a certain height. And this guy was, 3 inches shorter than what it was that she was looking at. And so I just thought that was so funny. She would have missed him. She would have never seen him. So many people, they, set their dating app to a certain geographic area. Like you can set these things to, I don't want to talk to anyone outside of 30 miles away. It's like, okay, great. That's low hanging fruit. It'd be awesome if the guy lived next door to you. Like, my story. I married my next door neighbor. That's awesome. That's fun. Obviously, there's a lot more to that story than that, but that doesn't happen for everybody. And so what if he's 31 miles away? What if he's 35 miles away? What if he's 150 miles away? It's like, let's keep our borders open. Let's keep our borders open. And so I had a student that had a list, and it was an extensive list. And I worked with her for a while, and I actually located a guy because I go looking. When I do personal matchmaking, I actually go looking for these men that I think are going to be compatible to these ladies. And so I went looking, and I found a guy that matched every single thing on this girl's list. I mean, to a T, every single thing she wanted, this guy had. And so I presented him to her. I said, I found your list guy. She's like, no way. I said, yes, I found him. She's like, all right, I want to meet him. I said, you do? She said, yeah. Guess what? I gave him her phone number. She never responded. 5 days later, I messaged her. I said, hey, this guy is trying to get a hold of you, but you're not responding. She goes, oh yeah, I've been busy. I said, you've been busy? You've been waiting for this guy that's everything you've ever wanted. I present him to you and you're too busy for 5 days to respond. I said, what's really going on? She's like, I'm really scared. She said, I didn't think he existed. She said, and as soon as you presented someone who had everything on my list, she said, it's like God called my bluff. It's like, oh, this is what you wanted? Well, here it is. Do you still want it? And she said, and I realized that half that stuff on that list, I really don't want. In fact, it intimidates me. I just thought it didn't exist, and I thought I was safe by saying that I wanted it. And so she didn't even end up talking to this guy, but you know what she did end up doing? She ended up letting the guy that had been looking at her from across the room at church for over a year. This guy had been glancing her way. She noticed that he was, interested in her. She gave her friend permission to tell him, hey, if you want to ask me out to coffee, I'll say yes. He asked her out to coffee the very next week after she totally just didn't talk to the list guy, and they're engaged now and they're getting married this spring.
Wow.
And guess what? He probably only has 2 or 3 things on that list.
It's the number one thing that gets in your way of having the love that you're looking for, fear?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The number one thing that gets in your way is fear, and it's a fear-based response that's coming from you. You're the number one thing that gets in your way. Every time. We're never stuck on the outside. We're always stuck on the inside. But it's so much more, what's the word? It's so much more, I don't know what the word I'm thinking of. I gotta think of the word.
Well, fear is, fear's the deterrent, but what is it that,
it's so much easier to blame everything else.
Yeah.
Right? No one wants to think, oh, this is me.
Yeah.
It's easier to say, oh, there's no good men.
Yeah.
I had a student the other day say, there's no single men near me. I said, oh, really? Where do you live? And she said, Nashville. I said, how many people live in Nashville? I said, Google it right now. She Googled it and she said, there's 223,000 people in this little suburb that I live in Nashville. And I said, so you don't think there's one single guy in all of those people that's a good guy that you could date?
Yeah.
I said, so there not being enough single men or any good men, that can't possibly be what's really happening, right? It has to be something else. What is it?
It probably would blow my mind if I just thought, okay, of all of the women that I did not approach in my life, or, I'm not like Mr. Pickup line or whatever, but if you would have just gone for it, I wonder what the percentages would have been of, I'm sure I would have maybe been, slapped a couple of times. No, I wouldn't have. I would have been a gentleman, okay?
No, for sure. But here's the thing. For everyone who's found themselves in a relationship with someone who doesn't fit, a relationship that's not healthy, what they don't realize, and maybe this is your case too, is that there was actually a healthy person standing right next to the girl that you did talk to, the girl that you did approach, the girl that you did ask out. You wanted her phone number. the girl standing next to her or 2 or 3 girls down from her or sitting at the table across the room from her, she was healthy. She was someone that you could have been compatible with and actually had a long-term healthy relationship, possibly even marriage with. But why didn't you notice her? Why did you continue to notice the same person over and over again that is going to have, is not going to be compatible long-term? After the infatuation runs out, and I think scientists say it's 18 months, once infatuation ends, there's just nothing left. There's nothing left to talk about. There's nothing left to do together. It's that codependent, opposites attract, but they don't cohabitate situation. And so how do we get out of that? We get out of that because what we are, we attract. So what you believe, you become, and what you become, you attract. And that's another thing that I teach my students is the biblical law of attraction. This is a biblical thing. It's real. What you think about yourself, what you believe about yourself, you will attract that in other people. What do you think about that?
So if I wear my dashikis,
you can't fake it till you make it. Okay. It's what do you really believe under the dashikis?
Yeah.
Deep down inside, under the dashikis, what do you really believe? Do you believe that you have to fix people? Do you believe you're the hero of the story? Do you have to get the damsel in distress?
Well, I try to rescue, and
of course, so many people do. And fixer-uppers are for houses, not spouses. That's what I always say. All right?
Now you tell me.
Yeah. So if you're showing up with a tool belt, you want someone you can fix and you can help, you want a project, you're going to end up with a project. You will. You'll end up with a project.
So everybody out there now is a life coach.
For sure.
Okay, everybody's a life coach.
Right.
And you're not a life coach.
I'm not.
I would say that you are a motivating force. You're a teacher. You're an author. You've written a great book called The Heart Work, which is on Amazon.
That's right.
And you have a new book coming out here in a few months, which we won't talk about right now, but it will be out.
So exciting.
So exciting. And the really cool thing is that you've now added matchmaker to your resume.
I have. And and I've always been the matchmaker. Can I tell you that I'm the girl in your adolescent class, your grade school, your middle school, that if you like someone, boy or girl, if you liked someone, I knew about it. And you were going to send me with the note to ask them if they liked you back. I was that girl all through my life. I've always been fixing people up, saying, hey, you need to meet so-and-so, just naturally connecting people. And so in my personal life, outside of this, outside of ministry, outside of matchmaking and teaching, I have been part of helping 14 different couples get married. 14. And so it's always been a gift of mine, even before the heart work, even before Married in 12 Months or Less. And so it's so exciting that I get to do 2 things that I love so much, and that is coach people to have amazing relationships, and not just with the opposite sex, with their parents, with their siblings. I help people reconcile broken things, to forgive, to let go, to be healed of bitterness, and to really be able to connect in deeper intimacy. And so that just leads to this husband and wife relationship situation as well, because you're never going to have any deeper intimacy with anyone besides your spirit mate. And so being a relationship coach, being a love coach, and so I get to put that together with now matchmaking, like getting to be part of couples coming together. There's nothing more fun than watching 2 people fall in love. It's like the most exciting thing. Like I feel like I'm constantly on the Love Boat. Remember that?
movie? Yeah.
Remember the show, The Love Boat?
There's a Love Boat channel right now on Pluto TV 24/7.
Oh, stop.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, now that I know that. I love it. I love the love story.
And by the way, the app is free, by the way. You can get it on your phone too.
There you go. I love love. I love the love story.
Absolutely. And by the way, folks, just a reminder, you can go to lovestories.com. And
are we tired? Is it late?
It's tired. It's tired. Yeah, I'm now on it.
Yeah.
No, I know. Yeah, I'm a little tired. But lovestories.com is where you can find out more about this. Now, I want to ask you the 12 months thing.
Yes.
Is that a gimmick, or is there a science behind this? Is there a reason for the 12 months? Because I have just been in a relationship for several years. Well, you know how it ended up. The bottom line is, are you telling me that I wasted my time at the 12-month mark? I should have just moved on? What can you learn in 12 months? Why is it married in 12 months or less? Why is it not like married in 16 months or less?
Because, well, first of all, I believe that was divinely given to me, first of all. And, I have the story. I was married in 8 months or less. after a divorce, after a failed marriage. That's my story. And I married my neighbor. I walked out in my front yard and there he was. And, I won't get into all the details, but it's a funny story. And people that take my course get to hear about it. And everybody laughs because the first time I met him, I yelled at him. It wasn't just like love at first sight. It was like, hey, dude, get out of here. And so, so what I help people do is I help people get prepared because, when it's good and when it's God and when you're ready, it doesn't have to take a long time. The reason why it takes a long time for so many people is because they haven't done the pre-work. Okay, there's no pre-game that's happened here. And so they're not ready to step into that. They have all different types of blocks where on the inside still. And so they can't move forward on the outside with this person. You see people that are dating for years and years and still can't make a decision if this is the one. Some people have been engaged for lots of years and they can't ever set the date. And the reason why is because they're not really sure who they are. And if they don't know who they are, then they can never be anything to this other person. If I don't know who I am to myself, how can I be anything to you? And so I help people figure that out. I help people find out who they are and whose they are. I help them step back into that destiny DNA and that story that God's written about them. So then they can see, is this person in my story too? And so if they are, then I can go all the way with them. I can go ahead and get married and I don't have to second guess and run hot and cold all the time. Because there's two types of relationships that happen really fast. Really bad ones and supernatural ones. All right. And I'm helping people step into those supernatural ones.
So this is Married in 12 Months or Less. It's a 5-day challenge. It's totally free. It's not going to, be one of these things that you sign up for and then you go through it and you learn nothing. I was blown away because I know we did some interviews with some of the ladies that have gone through this.
Right.
That's what we were doing earlier today. We were doing Zoom calls with them and videos, and they were excited.
Yes.
They were there. I felt like I was watching a bunch of people that won the lottery or won the Publishers Clearinghouse $1 million.
Absolutely. They're excited because they get such transformation just from the 5 days. Just from the 5-day free challenge, they get so much transformation. They're like, I've never heard anything like this before. I wish I would have known this sooner. So many people come to me, they're like, hey, I was really skeptical. I went and I came anyway. I overcame all my objections. And I'm so glad I did because this has changed my life. This is life changing. Because as you know, I fire hose people in that 5-day challenge. I don't just give you a little bit of information. I give you the whole thing.
Yeah.
The whole entire thing, you get it in that 5-day challenge. And even today during one of our interviews, one of the ladies was like, you know what? I said, married in 12 months or less, you got to be kidding me. She said, I felt in my heart like, I dare you, Jackie, to show me how I can be married in 12 months or less. And now her entire life is transformed. She has friends, she has sisterhood, she has family, she has so many things that she didn't have just a few months ago. And so she said the man at this point is just gravy. The man's gravy. It's wonderful. I want my spirit mate still. I'm excited about it. I have hope for it when I never had hope for it before. But I have all of this other stuff now as well. I have direction. Okay, I feel like I have something to offer the world. I have a voice, and I have all of these great sisters that are supportive of me to go through this journey with. And she said, and I feel so rich now.
I love the story where you had the two women.
She was one of them.
Yeah. They moved in together because they became friends.
They did.
Going through the program.
Exactly.
And so they moved in, and now they're both each looking for a husband together.
They are. And it's
now,
so
by
fun.
the way, not one husband, two guys.
That's right. Yeah, they're like Laverne and Shirley now. They're just looking around. They're
so cool,
living
though.
together, and they're looking around, and they're having a good time. We've had several meetups in person. We have so many people that are part of our courses that live regionally near each other. They're meeting up. They're doing things together. They're going on vacations together. I just got back from one of the Married in 12 Months or Less meetups in Tampa. And people from all over the country came down there to just meet up, to hang out, to get to know each other. It was so much fun. And listen, this is just happening organically. This is a family. This is a movement. This is a kingdom family movement. And just the spirit mate, the matchmaking is just part of it.
I think we should do a Married in 12 Months or Less cruise.
I think so too. I think that's an amazing idea.
We could have our own love boat.
The love boat.
That would be so cool.
We should totally do it.
And you can invite all these women, and I'll be the only guy on the
Well, we might need to get you a few wingmen. You might need a little bit of help. But yes, for sure. I mean, we should definitely do that.
Hey, by the way, I want to tell you the other folks, if you're listening to this close to your computer, the other thing, the reason you have to sign up for this like right now and do this is because you are going to be so into it, and then you're going to start thinking about all your friends, all your single girlfriends. And I know that this is happening because when people sign up for this, you know, we can actually see the fact that there's a ripple effect where you'll come in, you'll sign up, you'll go through the program, and then all of a sudden you'll invite like 15 people. And and you can see that on Facebook. You can, because you're the administrator, because you told me that it's like, well, so-and-so came on and then she invited this girlfriend and that girlfriend and this one invited that girlfriend. It's this crazy ripple effect.
Absolutely. And it's the most flattering because, you know, these people believe in what they're hearing. Mm-hmm. You know, they wanted to share it with everyone they know. They're like, hey, I really found something. I found a treasure here. This really works. I really believe it. And I want to share it with you. And I can't tell you how many people have come in from a friend that are now in some kind of relationship. Like they didn't even hear it themselves. Their friend saw the potential in them to become a wife. And they said, hey, you need this. I feel like this is a divine appointment for you. And then they've come over and taken the challenge. And now they're in an amazing relationship or they're engaged. And we even have people that are married already from this program. And so it's just been, like I said, it's just been such a blessing. It's been one of the most amazing journeys of my life to be part of this.
So all you have to do is to go to lovestories.com. You can sign up right now. We're going to have one of these things, another challenge, a 5-day challenge here coming up in just days, actually. It's absolutely free. Go to lovestories.com. That's lovestories, one word.com. And and by the way, all you have to do is give your name and what do you have to do? Give your name and email address?
Your name, your email address, and your telephone number if you want to receive text messages,
reminders.
Yeah, for sure. Right. I think that's a great idea.
And nobody sells any of that information.
No, not at all.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool. I think this is the neatest thing, especially after the last year that we've gone through. I loved today when we were interviewing these women, and there was this bonding with these folks. I mean, they were just they found all these friends in this group.
They did.
Because you also end up doing people share videos on this thing, on the.
Oh yeah, it's a video community. It's a place where you can just externally process in a safe place. You know, you can see, that other people are experiencing the same thing as you are. Because so many people, they feel isolated. They're like, I'm alone in this. Forever alone. I'm the only person, table for one. Everyone else is married. Everyone else is in a relationship. And then they see it's just not true.
Yeah.
It isn't. There's so many people rowing that boat with you. And what's so exciting to me as well is that after they come through the challenge, they go through boot camp, they try things that they've tried in the past that have never worked. Like, for instance, online dating. People are so afraid of that. It's like swimming with the sharks, right? You open up your direct messages on there. You don't know if you're going to find Prince Charming or Prince Alarming. You don't know what's going to happen. I've heard so many horror stories. But when they do their heart work, when they come into Bride Boot Camp and they go through these challenges and they do this, they change. The way they look at people, the way they look at things change, and they can go on the same dating app, but now they're a different person, right? They're not in that fear response anymore. They're not looking at things the same way. They're not swiping on the same people anymore. And they can meet someone with a lot of potential, quality people. Some of the same women that told me they would never go on online dating again have come out of my boot camps, gotten on the same online dating apps, and now they're in amazing relationships with great men that they met in the very place where they said that there was nobody at all.
Fantastic.
Is that not crazy?
That's crazy. That's unbelievable. So we covered it?
I think we have. I mean, there's so much more. There's always more. I want people to really get excited because I believe this is a divine appointment. all the women that come, the ones that hear this story, and it just really just resonates in their heart, I believe that they're being drawn to that family for the very purpose of God answering the cry of their heart to give them this beautiful love story that He's already written for them.
So when you go to lovestories.com and you sign up for the Married in 12 Months or Less 5-day challenge, you're going to end up in this really incredible community. Jackie's going to be live. This is not some canned, taped, recorded
this is really
thing.
me.
It's really you.
Yes.
And the engagement is live.
It is. It's live.
Which is really cool.
It is.
Okay. Because so many of these things you see online, they're in the can. They're
right. It's automated. It's not real.
Yeah. But this 5-day challenge thing, it is the real deal.
It is the real deal.
And which is really cool because you can also adapt to or weigh into whatever's going on. Because the mindset has changed in this whole dating thing. Right now we're coming out of the pandemic, so
right.
it's changing. People literally a lot of folks have had no human connection for over a year.
Right, and that's a dangerous place to be.
Yeah, because
when you're starving, you'll eat anything. And so it's really important that they come into this challenge and they get ready so that they're not settling, for something that they shouldn't be settling for.
Yeah. So, folks, what you're going to get is you're going to get the here and now with Jackie. You're not going to get something that she recorded 2 years ago and just happens to be online, with it. You're going to get the, what's going on right now in 2021. And the scene is so entirely different than it was a year ago at this time. So go to lovestories.com and sign up today. The next challenge is coming up. It's absolutely free, and it'll only take you 5 days. And by the way, you're going to give them a little bit of work to do, a little homework. I know you do.
That's right, I do. Well, because, I want them to process.
Mm-hmm.
I call it, let's just process that. And there's something that we talk about in the 5-day challenge called the revealing for healing. And it starts to happen the moment that people step into the challenge. They start answering the posts. We have pre-engagement posts in there. We have pre-engagement videos where I'm in there and I'm talking to them and I'm hyping them up and getting them ready for the challenge. And they start dreaming. They start having all kinds of aha moments of, wait, man, I see myself in what she just said. And when that's happening, I want them to process that out loud, externally process that, make a video, make a post, tell everybody else about it, because I believe that your breakthrough creates breakthrough for others. And what you help make happen for others, God makes happen for you. And so that is what's so beautiful about this community, is that the more these women begin to get free, they help each other get free as well. And it's just amazing to watch it happen.
Well, thank you, my friend. This has been fun. And it's great to be doing this. Just once again, folks, just want to put it out there. I believe in this thing so much that I'm in business with Jackie and with her husband, David. I just want to give you a little disclaimer there. It's like, I know I'm always online hyping the Salem stock, right? And I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a biased shareholder. But by golly, that thing's been going up ever since January.
Wow.
I mean, now here I am. I'm talking about Salem stock. How is that?
Yeah.
But by the way, I'm just a novice. I'm just a little old shareholder. You got to go talk to your own financial advisor and get advice from your advisor. Don't listen to me. But by golly, I'll tell you, I started talking about this stock when it was like 80 cents.
Yeah.
And now it's at like $3.20. That's a pretty nice little ride for some people that jumped on that bandwagon.
Wow.
And I don't think it's, and by the way, I think one reason is because there are no conservative media companies left.
Right.
I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
Salem's like it.
Yeah.
And Rush Limbaugh, God bless his soul, isn't around.
Right.
So, I think that's, well, I better not say anything. I don't want to get pulled into trouble here. I'm just a novice. Consult your financial advisor. And if it's all about love, you got to go to lovestories.com and let Jackie work with you. Don't listen to me. I'm just a novice.
That's right.
And by the way, I will definitely not give you good advice.
Yes.
In the love department.
But you can give good stock advice. And I think after being involved with this, your stock's going to go up because I'm going to keep telling women that, oh, by the way, he's single. He's single over here. So I think that we are going to find you your spirit mate in this whole process as well.
Well, let me see. You started working with me about, a couple months ago? So you got 10 months left.
That's right. No pressure.
This has been CIA Contagious Influencers of America, the podcast from the producers of Keep the Faith. And I'm David Sams, and we've got a great lineup coming up in the days ahead. And thank you so much for your feedback and your 5-star ratings and great reviews, and that really helps us out a lot. And a big shout out to our friends at iHeart. We continue to be one of the top podcasts on the iHeart platform in the spirituality section, and that's really cool. We're still in the top 25, so we really appreciate our friends at iHeart. Remember to go out there and live that life in living color, because it sure is a heck of a lot more interesting than living it in black and white. I'll see you next time.